So to me, the pleasure to explain something about execution. We spent a lot of time to talk about strategy. Now it's time to see how we implemented the strategy and transformed it in results. We start at first explaining what is Marelli. Marelli is the composition of two big companies, Magneti Marelli, quite Italian, and Calsoni Kansei, Japanese organization. As you can imagine, those two companies have a very strong DNA in terms of capability of making production schedule, capability of making program, capability of making forecasting. We faced at the beginning of 2021 with a need of making a transformation. Transformation in the sense of optimizing our capacity of making prevision on the future volume trend. We faced with finished goods of 50K pieces, composed by 350,000 part number, different part number. A very complex problem. We faced with the need of merging the two operations with a different way of acting. This combined with a different ERP, more than 10 different ERP in the two organizations, where in more than 88 plants operating and serving sometimes different customers, sometimes the same customers. All these organized in several, we call them businesses. Businesses can be different product line. We start from automotive lighting, the lighting product of a vehicles, to electronic components, to engine cooling control product, to interior experience product, to exhaust system, to shock absorbers. As you can see, very heterogeneous range of product. At the beginning, it was like this. Silos organized the business. Every business is taking care of his own forecast of volumes and his own budget and trend of the demand. At the same time, so we used to have very separate approach of supply chain and other departments that were acting independently, trying to have their own vision. So the energy was spent to impose their own figures versus the other forecast. So a lot of energy spent to try to reach a consensus. This was wrong because the final output was a number that was a compromise among all the numbers of all the departments, all the numbers among all the regions, but was all the number. So time spent to collect data, to sanitize data, not to make action to improve the output of our operations. Here I represent two real examples. This slide was done during the period of shortage of wafer, of electronics. So we start from the left side, we have one part number, one wafer, one back-end fab, okay, one part number. This can affect 3 plants of Marelli, that can affect 7 plants of Marelli all over the world, that finally arrive to 13 plants of the customer. Unacceptable problem. On the same side, one vehicle that is served by 3 different businesses. 3 different businesses that transform the demand from the customers in their own production capacity, that are transformed in the demand to our suppliers. So the complexity is rising. Again, time spent to collect data, not to analyze data. We start thinking about the implementation of one SIOP, one tool for the whole organization. The idea was to have one unique global supply chain organization that take care of the whole operation model for the whole organization. That again is organized by businesses. Each business has a different requirement because maybe one business is using a lot of electronic components, so need to have a very long lead time. Another business is using plastic components, so it's not needed so long lead time. The composition of those businesses serve the same customer that finally is fluctuating a lot his demand. The target of the activity was, okay, to enhance the visibility, to understand the real demand of our customer, to have one common view among all our divisions. A second step to start automatizing the process and to reduce cost. The reduce cost in terms of what? Premium freight. This means extra freight that you need to do if you don't have the component ready at the right time, or loss of manpower, or scrap because you generate obsolete. You are you think to use certain number of components that finally you are not using, and you generate obsolete. With SIOP, we introduce a new way of working. New way of working in the sense that the perception was they need to have one common view for the volumes. One common view for the volumes used by supply chain, by manufacturing, by purchasing, by sales in their commercial negotiation, but also by finance and HR. One common view of volumes to allow to increase our level of service, to satisfy our customer, and combine to that to increase our profitability. The takeaways of this can be summarized with 2 words. Then we prepare a list. First, SIOP is a company tool. It's not a supply chain or manufacturing tool. A company tool that can be used by all the departments as one source of truth. Then, real SIOP implementation is a cultural change. Cultural change can happen only if we watch all in the same direction. This is what we have done in Marelli, among all those plants. And the takeaway are these. One view, starting from strong executive support for doing this. Because again, cultural change can be done only if we are all convinced this is needed for improving the operation. Otherwise, the organization will stay with Excel. They will follow their way of working. The sentence was always, we have always used to do like this. Why you want to change? All in one, bottom-up approach. What does it mean, the second sentence? It means be ready to listen. And in this sense, online tool was very useful, very flexible. Be ready to listen all the change that the user are suggesting us to implement on the tool, to have the tool suitable for their daily job. The desire of everybody is to work less and work better. Not to spend 12 hours at the office, in the office, trying to solve problems, trying to collect the information. You need to have a structured approach. It was not a big bang implementation. It's not a question that we implemented one day and we say, from that day, the day after, everything will change. We start making step-by-step change. We planned the change. We structured the change management. We informed everybody the expected improvement on KPI. In most of the cases, we asked the businesses to inform us what they expect in terms of improvement when they use this kind of tool, and this was the result. We generate a clear plan of data availability. We say, if we implemented this tool, from that day, you will have this data available. We harmonize the data. So each business starts using the same source of information and start making suggestions of adjusting the volumes. To remember, we start on 2021, we made the implementation 2022, 2023, in the middle of shortage of electronic components. As said, not a big bang approach, step-by-step approach. We start bringing on board all the department from those different businesses, telling them, if you use this, you can improve your output. It becomes easier for you to bring the result that the organization expects from your own business in terms of profitability. And this is what we have done. And in this phase started cross-fertilization among different experiences. Because as I said at the beginning, we are a big organization with a 2 strong DNA. One quite Italian-American, Magneti Marelli, the other one quite Japanese. But the customers that we serve are the same. And the output that is expected is the same. Raise the profitability with a higher customer satisfaction. So the goal is always common. The starting point can be different. With this step-by-step approach, we have been able to board all the plants involved, that I repeat are 88, to show that if they apply this tool, they can have a more stable output. And this was a winning point. Then all the activity was always characterized by visibility and transparency. Means data that we inform us in terms of improvement of rotation of inventory, or improvement of reduction of losses was certified by finance, not by us. This helped us to gain speed in the implementation, because the organization that was watching us started saying, if you use this tool really, you can improve the output. This was another winning point. Winning point that we applied simple KPI to measure the improvement. We make a budget based on that the organization is measured. We try to improve that budget through simple KPI. This is SIOP involved premium freight, labor losses, inventory turn improvement. Very simple to monitor, very simple to check the improvement. And this is what we have implemented until now. I recognize that this is the beginning of the journey. This is the beginning of our journey of transformation. The first phase has been recognize the same source of data, analyze the same data. Then we are enlarging even further the visibility using we call SIOP Plus. So going versus our suppliers and check with them how we can increase the collaboration, because the concept is very basic. If the supplier is having a problem to deliver to us, it's not question that he is bad or is good. He's having the problem. So we needed to anticipate, working with the supplier, this kind of problem, to put this information available for everybody, to avoid tribal management of data that stays in a specific department and maybe is not treated with the attention that should have, and try to share and to prevent the evolution of the problem that may occur. Because again, doing this activity, we have mitigated a lot of problem of shortage of electronics, having clear in mind that this specific component that was needed for this specific product was available in that plant, but maybe not needed in that plant, could be moved in another plant. Summarizing everything, has been already touched this topic, but I strongly believe is not the strongest, is not the most intelligent that survive, is the most responsive that is ready to change. Our feeling that really using online SIOP tool, we have been able to do this. Part of our journey is done. Now we will start and go ahead with the next steps. This is my presentation. Thank you very much to all.